Okay, this is part 2 of insulating and heating your RV. In the first part I went into putting reflectix in your windows and using 2 layers, not just 1 but 2, to go from an R1 to an R10 value in your insulating. And that works both to hold the cold in and also to keep the heat out. So it works in hot weather and cold weather. It's really good. I did all my windows all the way around the trailer for like 25 bucks. You can get a roll of that like at Lowe's. Anyway, the other big culprit of losing heat or losing your cold is your stove vent. And this is where it comes out on the outside of the trailer. And you can leave that on, the outside cover, but in part 1 I showed you how to plug up that hole, take off the stove vent and all that kind of stuff. So that's in part 1. Okay, this part 2, the other big culprits of transferring air inside to the outside and vice versa is your roof air conditioner unit, that big unit you see up there. Okay, what I did, because I'm boondock camping and I can't run a 15,000 BTU off of a small portable generator. You need like at least a 3,500 watt gas generator to run something like the roof mount. But anyway, what I did, since I'm not using it unless I get shore hookup, on the inside of the trailer, all your controls are on the underside of the ceiling. There's 4 screws on the cover. Just take that off, and then you'll see where the fan is. You want to plug that up with anything you can, any type of insulation, because that fan blower motor is blowing the air out of that cover up there. So there's a lot of airflow from the inside of your trailer out of that vent. So on the inside, like I say, just take off the cover plate. You'll see where the fan is and where the ductwork goes all the way up to the roof. You want to close that up. That's another big culprit of you losing cold air or hot air getting in. What I opted for, so that I could run off of my small portable generator, is I put in just a window mount, a small 5,000 BTU window mount air conditioner. And again, you do have airflow from the outside to the inside, especially when it's windy. You're going to notice a breeze coming into the inside. So on the inside, I have a cover I made that covers the control panel on the inside of the RV. When I'm not using it, when I'm using it, I just take the cover off, and when I'm not using it, I put that cover on the inside. And you can use different things. I had some wheel covers, RV wheel covers, and I use one of those to cover the inside of the AC when I'm not using it. And that prevents, again, your airflow going from in and out of the trailer. But the stove vent is the worst. You just might not notice it because it comes straight in, and then the airflow gets directed straight down towards the stove. So you might not notice it, how much airflow is going to the inside to the outside, unless you put your hand underneath the vent. Anyway, I went into all that. Now I'm going to go into heating. Okay, most RVs are heated by propane. They have a furnace inside that runs off your propane tanks. So most RVs run off of propane heat. So I feel it's safe to use, obviously, because all the RV dealers, that's what your furnace runs off of, propane. So as a backup, if you ran out of propane, I always have backups. You could just use a little propane stove. Here I got a 1 burner. You can use both for cooking, but if your propane ran out, you could always crank that up. I feel it's safe. Even though, you know, they have disclaimers about carbon monoxide, but I don't believe that they produce much. But you could always, most RVs come with the carbon monoxide detector also, but I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, the other culprit, are you losing heat or keeping in your air, your cold air, or your roof vents? And I really can't get up there to show you, but my RV is a 22-footer, and that's got 2 roof vents that open up on top. And most RV dealers sell these that fit right in on the inside, right up into the roof vent. Now you'll see it's got the reflectix on one side. So if you're trying to keep the cold in, you're going to point that reflectix basically up during the heat of the day. You want when it goes through the roof vent, the sunlight, you want it to reflect off of that surface. So you're going, during the day you have that pointing up, and at nighttime when you want to keep the heat in, you're going to turn it around and keep the reflectix pointing down into your trailer. Okay, so that's how that works. And if you know, they're only like 15 bucks a piece, you know, and they're designed just for those roof vents in most of the RVs. I've seen people stick pillows up in there too, of the right size. That'll work, but these are better because they got the reflectix on the one side. So that's another thing you can do for insulating your trailer. And then you won't believe it, there's a rattlesnake. This came up. I'm in Arizona. And he just came up. He went under my trailer, and he's hanging out there. Small one, two and a half foot. That's no good. They're all coming out now. This is mid-April, and as the heat's up in the desert, I'm out in the desert here. So I got to be careful as I'm filming this. Keep an eye on him. There he is. Yeah, he's got the little rattle on the back. I don't know if you can see him. That's the horned rattlesnake. He's got 2 little horns on. There's a few different types out here. They're all very poisonous. So hopefully he's not going to hang out under there for long, because otherwise I'm going to have to coax him out of there. Okay, the other thing on the inside of the RV, I'm also using electric heater. I forgot to bring the page out. Let's see what it is. Here it is. Okay, I'm using most of your electric heaters. I'm running mine off of solar. Most of them are on the floor. You put on the floor. I'm just keeping an eye over there towards that rattlesnake. I'm using the Heat Storm. It's 4 inches deep, 13 inches wide, 16 inches high. And it has both a 500 watt and a 1000 watt setting. You want to get, most of your electric heaters are 1000 watt. And I was having problems. I have a 3000 watt inverter, and it was blowing with only a 1000 watt electric heater. So this one with the 500 watt, that's how I run it. And it doesn't blow my inverter. Like I say, even with the powerful 3000 watt inverter, it's an inductive load. When it first starts up, it's just like a motor. Your heating elements, just like toasters and electric heaters, they draw a lot of power when they first start up. So I recommend the Heat Storm because also it could be wall mounted. It's safe to mount on the wall. And that's why I bought it, and I have mine mounted on the wall, so it's not taking up floor space. Nice and small. I always started off on the 500 watt setting, and I have no problems. And that's running off my solar. Now the other thing is, you do zone heat. Instead of trying to heat up 150 square feet in my case, in the back here is where my bed is, and all I did was put across the back a survival blanket from the ceiling all the way to the floor, and I velcroed it in place. Really easy to do. And this way, and that's where my heater is, back by the bed. So all I'm doing is heating this section of the trailer right here, instead of trying to heat up the whole trailer at nighttime. Just heating up that one little area, and here's a survival blanket I'm using. And I cut it down to fit. It was like an 8 by 6 foot wide survival blanket, which is Reflectix type material on the top, and on the other side is, if you got, you know, in a bad situation, you have the orange facing up. Just a survival blanket, but a nice heavy duty one. It's not one of those tiny thin ones that can fold up into your pocket. And then I cut it down. Then this would be where I put the Velcro along the ceiling, you know, and along the sides. I had places where I could put it down along the sides, and this would be the bottom of, you know, the floor area inside. So that holds in the heat really good when the heat storm electric heater is working. When I use that, and like I say, that's all off grid. It's just you know, that 500 watts of electric. If you do the zone heat and just close off an area, you might have other methods, but that's all I use. Just a cheap survival blanket type thing, and I made it go from the ceiling to the floor, and just cut it off so there was no airflow to the front of the trailer. Okay, I'm still concerned about that rattler. Where the heck is he? I don't know if he went out or not. Okay, this is the end of episode 2. This is Eagle Eric in the desert, signing off.